Hello, all. I want to take this opportunity to make sure you did well on assignment 6 prior to getting into the next project, which would be a test and for the next week, and or for this week, I should say. But I want you to make sure that you're feeling pretty good about walking into it. And I believe this problem that you just did, assignment 6, based upon how well you did, should give you either the confidence or hopefully this video will help you try to figure out where you went wrong. And so this problem, which is very similar to the um, the problem in regards to very boards, was asking you to, in this case, create an application where you can buy pretzels or pretzels with cheese. Okay, and along with that, you're going to accumulate, first of all, the total for each customer's order, and then you will accumulate daily totals. And there's some text boxes and labels and everything else that we kind of sit in here. Based upon that, our inputs for this would be pretzels and pretzels with cheese. It would be our outputs would be the total sale for each customer, our daily total pretzels, our daily total pretzels with cheese, and our daily total sales. This is what you would be accumulating. Now, once again, when you do your design, do them like this, okay? Kind of separate them. You don't have to do it by number like I give you on that list. Do them like this. Go through the list, but format your designs like this. It makes it very easy for me to see and really very easy for you to see more than anything, okay? But if we sit back and go through the numbers, number one, identify your inputs, identify your outputs, and then we need to make sure they're in the proper order, right? Your outputs are in the proper order, and these are. But once again, you would need to go through that to make sure you do the first things first and so on in regards to this. You would definitely be doing your total sale prior to doing any kind of daily total pretzels, daily total pretzels with cheese, and daily total sales. You want this all done, this one finished before these. These three, you could probably interchange those and still get away with it pretty easily. All right. The next thing you would do is do your pseudocode. I would like to see your pseudocode looking like this. Once again, not broken up, all one piece. I'm going to go get my pretzels with cheese. Why do I want it all together? Once again, it's easier for you to transfer this to your program. So don't break it up. Make it readable. Man, you're writing logic that you're going to take and apply to your programming language. So make it easy to read, okay? We're going to get our inputs. That's the first thing you do. And then we start basically walking through the outputs. Total sale. And we have our total sale here, which is going to be my pretzels times $2.50, my pretzels with cheese times $5. Some people ask me, can I put constants in my logic? And I guess the answer is yes, you can. But remember, you're not writing Visual Basic here now. You're writing logic. It has nothing to do with Visual Basic. The whole idea with this logic, this pseudocode, is you can take it to any programming language and actually implement it. So don't write Visual Basic specific things in your design, okay? Finally, we got that. So we got daily total sales out of the way, or I'm sorry, the total sale for the customer. And then we'll go to the daily total pretzels. This is going to be accumulation. So my accumulation is going to be what was there before, plus my pretzels will give me this. Same thing for my pretzels with cheese. I'm going to take my daily total sales and add my total sale for that customer and accumulate that and finally display my output. So this should look pretty similar to what you have. Okay? My next step in all this is going to be, okay, so I don't have anything else about what we need now to identify our variables. I didn't really add anything more here. Some people have customer counts I've seen before. That was for very boards. We weren't doing that for this particular problem, okay? Make sure you understand the problem and what it needs. You're not, I tell you to utilize my examples, but you're not copying them. You're taking it as a template and then you're modifying in a lot of cases. But even that's not going to get you very far in programming. You're going to have to, understand the problem, walk through the process of what you're trying to create, the inputs to the outputs and solve for the outputs. Okay? Next step is the variables, correct? And so we got our inputs. Here they are here. They're going to be integers. You can't order a half a pretzel. At least I don't think you can. Not at Bob's place anyway. You got to order a whole pretzel. If you want a half of one, that's fine, but you're going to have to pay for the whole pretzel. And then you can give the other half to your friend or whatever, okay? My outputs, in this case, I have double, integer, integer, double. Once again, we've been seeing that word double quite a bit, and that's the same exact thing as a decimal. So if you have decimal in there, that's what double would be, okay? So if you understand what double is, that's fine, but for the most part, it's the same thing as a decimal. Either one would work here. We got double for my sales, double for my total sales, because those are both going to be currency. These two will be integers because I'm adding up those up. Okay, meaning I'm adding up and accumulating the actual number of pretzels sold, pretzels with cheese sold. Make sense? Is that what you had? Our next step then is scope. That was our new thing this week in trying to understand scope. Remember what scope is. It's the lifetime of the variable. And so if we're done with the variable after we press click, we can keep it as local scope. And that's why I have local and local for these two right here. However, if we need to keep it for the next time we press click, meaning we need to keep the content so we can add to it or use it, we need to make it local. I'm sorry, we need to make it class level. So in this case here, my total sale, this will be part of this, taking these two in, I press my button, I calculate this and display it, local is fine. But I'm going to make these class level because they are going to accumulate. So I'm going to add to them each and every time. I do not want them removed from memory at the end of the procedure. I want them to stay in memory for the next time we click so we can add to them. And that would be a class level variable, scope-wise, okay? Cool, cool, cool. The final pieces that we would sit back and have on this is that we would do our test cases, right? And so in this case here, I would probably have a couple test cases. One, test case one, where I would have my pretzels equals 1, my pretzels with cheese. So I'm going to say pretzels, there we go. Whoops, don't spell it wrong. It's pretzels with cheese. I'm so sorry you guys got to watch me type. And so we'll say we're going to order those two. Our total sale would then equal, in this case here, pretzels is $2.50, pretzels with cheese is $5. So I anticipate to be $12.50 would be what that would be. That makes sense? Okay, so again, that's our expected results. That's what we would think it would be. My daily total pretzels would equal, in this case, my first time through would be 1. My daily total pretzels with cheese, it would be equal to 2. And then my daily total sales is going to be equal to, in this case, $12.50. Now, once again, what am I doing with this? I'm going to take this test case, I'm going to walk through my logic. As I mentioned before, one of the best things to do is give that logic, the pseudocode, to your friend and see if they actually get the expected results based upon your test case. You might be shocked. They might interpret what you're saying up here completely different. If they do, then it's not very good. You need to rewrite it just like I have it here. Very simple, very easy to read step by step. Don't try to combine too much. Have, everything you're doing on a separate line. Keep it nice and neat. Does that make sense? Even though I only need one test case to really test this, because we're accumulating, it's a good idea to go ahead and do another test case. I can keep the exact same one pretzel, my total sales this. However, the second time through, my total pretzels with cheese, my daily total pretzels should be 2. This should now be 4. And my daily total sales would be $25. Make sense? So this is my test case. This would be test case 2 in this case. So pretty easy. And so if I did it the first time, this is what I should have on my screen. If I did it the second time and I accumulated correctly, this is what I should have in my outputs also. Okay? And if I test everything here, it will come out to this. So it actually meets my expected results. Cool. Make sense so far? Is everybody good? Okay, the big piece here, making sure you're adding everything up, making sure you're dealing with all these different outputs, and finally dealing with your scope of your actual variables. That's the new part this week. All right, let's get into our program. And so here's my program, the results. And this is how I wanted you to do it. You can see that I have a group box going around it, okay? Once again, the word customer sale would be in the the text property of the group box. You don't need to name the group box, just put something in the text property. Don't hand anything in that has group box 1 and group box 2. The user doesn't know what that means. Put something specifically in there and describe what's in that container, in this case, the group box. In this case, this is my customer sale, my inputs and the output for that sale. And this is going to be my daily totals. Doesn't have to be anything hard at all, just very easy to use and very easy to read. Once again, make sure your program is all nice and neat, all lined up. Group boxes are lined up. My buttons are all the same size and they're all centered correctly, spaced from each other correctly. My outputs are lined up, my inputs are lined up, and so on. Nice and neat, so it looks like it's a professional job done by a professional, and meaning you want to be paid for this, so make sure it looks like it's something that should be paid for. That make sense? Okay, in this case here, if I sit back and I run this and I use my test cases, I would sit back, let's see, here we go right here, and I would put 1 and 2 in here and press submit. You can see it's 1250, exactly what I said would be on my test case. If I do this again and press submit, you see that it accumulates. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Let's get in and look at the code. So the code in this case, what I did was I took the things, I'm going to bring this back over for a second, put it over here so we can see this a little bit. So once again, the input, my inputs are right here, and these are declared as local variables. My total output is a local variable, but then my daily totals, these 3 right here, would be then declared as a class level variable. Once again, the computer differentiates these, or I should say the language differentiates these based upon where you declare the variables. Within the procedure, that's local. That's local within the procedure. Outside of procedure, they'll be class. And in this case here, they will stay in memory until the program physically ends. These are going to stay in memory as soon as the procedure ends. As soon as we display it, it goes out of memory. The next time we go through, it will go ahead and do these. Now, it will redeclare these. These will not be redeclared. They're declared one time when the program starts. If you end the program, obviously you lose all the data. You might say, well, that's a bad thing. Well, we're still walking into this. If we wanted to keep all that data permanently, we actually apply that to a database. All right, let's get back to here again. I'm going to do my total sale. There it is right there. Exactly how I have it written there. Okay. And then I would accumulate my daily pretzels, as you see with the plus equal. We talked about that before. And my pretzels with cheese and my total sales. Very similar to what we have right there. Okay. And so I split these things up using comments. I want you to have comments in every program you submit, every one of them. Okay. Format currency on the ones that require currency, and that's it. Your program should look, I say similar, almost identical to this. And again, you should understand this and apply it the exact same way. Note how I used my naming conventions, integer, double in this case, and I specify exactly what each variable is. I spell it out. I don't use any kind of acronyms or anything like that, or I don't abbreviate in any way. Spell out what these things are, not only for your variables, but also for everything on your form, like pretzels with cheese, label total sale, daily sales, daily pretzels, and so on. All right, and if you see that, it really kind of follows the logic that I did in my design. All right, and like I said, the final piece in this case, now we've seen it all, we would go here and test it. I've already done that, and we know it works. So if it works once, it's going to work the next time, and our program is finished. Here I am clearing my button .clear.reset text.focus. I put the focus, meaning I put the cursor back to the very first thing so the user can just start typing for the next customer. And then I close my program. And that is the solution for this particular problem. Once again, if you understand that and that makes sense to you, even though maybe you got this one wrong or you had some problems with it, if looking at this solution, it makes sense and you see where you went wrong, then you're learning. Now what you want to do is apply it to the next piece. Okay, if you're looking at this and you're going, I am clueless on what he's doing, you probably need to reach out for some help and do so as fast as you can. Okay, so you can either set up an appointment with your instructor, email your instructor, or so on, so you can get the help that you actually need. All right, there you go, assignment 6.